Show me how a personal vaporizer works.
Okay, Evan, I chose 3 devices here. There's one I would have liked to have, but it's so passé that we no longer use them. What we have here is what folks think is an electronic cigarette, and it is electronic cigarette. Unfortunately, this is a first generation device. Basically, we got our battery over here, we have a heating coil over here, and we have some batting of some sort, not dissimilar to a filter in a cigarette, that holds the liquid in contact with the coil. And when the vapor sucks on the cigarette, just like if you were smoking a cigarette, a pressure switch activates the battery and heats up the coil, and you get vapor, thusly. This is known as a first generation device, and it does look like a cigarette. This is a second generation device, and it's known as a personal vaporizer. We don't call them e-cigarettes anymore. The industry calls them that, and it's not our industry, but it says the authorities. And basically it's the same thing, but this one here we can take apart. We have a battery, and they vary in size, but it all does the same thing, is to provide current to a coil. Once upon a time the coils are exposed, so I'm going to try to show you what happens here. There's the coil inside there. You get it?
Yep.
Okay. And that's where your liquid would hit. Now these are known as second generation. Because we'll deal with that later on. It's known as second generation because this was first generation, second generation went from this. We have our liquid that is contained in a tank, and it comes in contact with the coil, and it can be vaped. Now I can't vape this one here because I got to put this back on there. But for the purpose of this exercise, it is sufficient. The last one is known as a third generation device, and this doesn't even look close to a cigarette, because it's not. It's a personal vaporizers. Okay, we have not coined them e-cigarettes for quite some time. That's the regulating body and so on and so forth. Here's a tank, a little bit bigger than this one. Okay. Same principles. This one here does have a replaceable, rechargeable lithium manganese battery. This lasts me about 8 hours, whereas this device only lasts for an hour and a half. And why we call them third generation is because now we have the ability to, if I press the button, it says non, which means it doesn't have an atomizer hooked up, or the atomizer is dead. So our devices do tell us when things aren't going properly. Like if we detect a non, it could cause a possible short, and which is not good for batteries. But the device is protected in that it won't allow that to happen. Okay. It'll tell you there that I got 1.7, no, it said 2.2, then you see P10. This is either a variable voltage or variable power device. And what does this gobbledygook mean? It means that this produces 10 watts, okay, at the coil. It's just a preference. And it doesn't matter, you set it and forget it. To your preference. And it doesn't matter what that preference is, you set it and forget it, and every time you press the button, I will get a 10 watt vape.
And do they provide a satisfying alternative to regular cigarettes?
Mimics it to the T.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Rick.